More than 1,200 people, mostly civilians, murdered by terrorists on that day. 412 Israeli soldiers killed in the ongoing retaliatory operation in Gaza. Now, one of the many young people killed while defending the country on the 7th of October was 22-year-old Captain Daniel Perez, a platoon commander in the 7th Armored Brigade, 77th Battalion. He was presumed to be a hostage, and only 163 days later, it was confirmed he was in fact murdered on the 7th of October. So for more, we now welcome Rabbi Doron Perez, the Executive Chairman of the World Mizrahi Movement. Rabbi, thank you so much for speaking to us. Difficult days ahead, Yom HaZikaron, when the nation remembers its fallen soldiers and victims of terror, is obviously always a heart-wrenching time, more so this year with the ongoing war, 59 hostages still in captivity, and your son Daniel was murdered by terrorists while fighting to defend the country. How are you feeling? How is your family? Just unimaginable.
Yeah, firstly, you've got me at the airport. I've just come back from the United States, where I've been speaking in communities around the world, around the US. Had it not been for our personal family circumstances, I may have stayed there. So firstly, the first thing that's changed is that, we have to be together as a family in Yom HaZikaron. It's become, unfortunately for us, very, very private day. It used to be a very public day, a day where our lot was part of the rest of the nation, but at a distance, not so to speak, for part of those families and the Mishpachot HaShekulot. And how many Yom HaZikaron ceremonies I ran in South Africa and participated in around the world and here. But of course, it's just unimaginably different when you're on the inside and you're one of those families now who has paid the ultimate price and still waiting for our son's body to come back for burial. It's a very different experience, and it's something very personal and hard to put into words. We just want to be together, close, and hug each other and just be together, I suppose, at the same time with 25,000 others who have paid the ultimate price since the advent of Zionism in the state of Israel.
The whole nation mourning together. And the country, of course, knows Daniel as a hero. He fought to protect the nation. Literally, he fought for hours. So tell us more about him, the legacy he leaves.
I think for me, first and foremost, it's about the fact Daniel was one of the most social, friend-loving people that I've ever met. He was a chaver tov. I've never met a person with so many good friends. And I think for me, it's most poignant and meaningful that Daniel fought to the end with 4 friends in the tank, him and 3 others. There's in fact an image that came out in Uvda, which did some investigative journalism and had a program about the heroic defense of Nachal Oz. And one of the things you see in this presentation is an unusual clip of Daniel getting off the tank and hugging a soldier from the commander of the sharpshooters of Golani, who was a little bit lost. You have this because the APC, the Namir behind the tank, which Daniel had brought under his command, had a video camera, and you actually see Daniel trying to communicate with this soldier with his sharpshooters and a little bit lost. This is 20 minutes before Daniel was killed. And you see him come off the tank, give the person a hug. His name is Shiloh Karmi, and he survived, and he explains how Daniel was so calm and collected but confident and gave him so much about that, a sense of tremendous calm. And I have to say that knowing that Daniel in those moments was surrounded by people who he loved and loved him, and they were doing everything that they could to save other people, I think is exactly what the Jewish people is all about and the IDF is all about. And for me, although we've lost our son and the pain is unimaginable, and we mourn as a family and as a people together, I do feel a tremendous sense of gratitude that he died in a way that couldn't be more noble, couldn't have been a greater Kiddush Hashem. So many people pass away in less noble circumstances and have to dig for meaning, and I can't even imagine that pain. I know the pain of losing a child while doing exactly what he wanted to do, being where he wanted to do, fighting to save other Jews to the end. And there's something I call this, I've called it since October 7th. I've never felt more pained to be part of the Jewish people, but never more proud and privileged. And I think that is the 2 days together of Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut. It's the pain and the privilege, the enormous privilege of living in an era of a state of Israel, that we're able to celebrate 77 years of freedom and dignity as a people, which is the most unbelievable sanctification of God's name and celebration of life. But it has come with such pain, not only last week, Yom HaShoah, of just the unimaginable. Here we talk about one family who's lost a child. You have the Bibas family who lost 3 generations. And 80 years ago, you had thousands and tens of thousands of people who lost everything that they had. So coming off that, and also the price that we and many have paid, is a painful privilege, but we're part of a privileged generation. And there's some solace and comfort in that.
So moving hearing your words of strength at this time. Rabbi, 59 hostages still in captivity, 24 of whom are believed to be alive. Obviously, major decisions for the country's leaders right now. What insights can you share? As you say, it's a grieving nation trying to process what has happened, then transitioning from a somber Memorial Day, Yom HaZikaron, to Independence Day, Yom HaAtzmaut, marking 77 years on Thursday. What kind of hopes do you have right now for the future in this country?
For unity. I really do believe you just had the piece before me of the Prime Minister and Ronen Bar, 2 people who I deeply, deeply respect. It's so painful to see what it's descended to. It's just so painful to see it. And I think it's a reflection of what's happened in the country, the lack of trust from different sides of the political echelons. And to me, I say it doesn't matter who's right anymore. It doesn't matter who's right, because everybody thinks that they're right and everyone's convinced that they're right. I believe the only way we're going to have a chance of very soon bringing back every one of our 59 hostages, which we have to bring back every single one. Of course, those who are alive, it's Pikuach Nefesh, and those who have passed away, like our son Daniel, we have to close the circle and can't be, open-ended like this in our era where they're across the road, a couple of kilometers away in Gaza. But I believe the only way we're going to do it is if, with all the painful arguments, we somehow are able to agree on how we need to do it. I know it's difficult, but by tearing ourselves apart is exactly what Hamas want. It's exactly what they want. They want to tear us apart. They make these ridiculous offers of saying we'll release 5 or 10 of the hostages, forcing the hostage families to fight with each other, and each one to portray which one's more injured than the next and whose son will come out now and who won't. It's these impossible situations and dilemmas which our enemy, who are experts in the most barbaric, not only physical, but emotional torture. I don't know what the answers are. You have impossible situations. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I genuinely do not know what the answer is, but I do know one thing. When we say the expression, biyachad nenatzach, we have to be biyachad. The nitzachon will only happen somehow if we're able to navigate it together. It's difficult, and there's strong views on both sides, but tearing ourselves apart is not going to help. And I believe we have to find a way to work it through together, to vociferously protest for what we believe in, but to know that we have to be in this together, because, otherwise we'll keep having our enemy reminding us, how torn apart we are, and we can't afford that.